So what is BlackPearl? And before I describe what BlackPearl is, let me describe the problem we're trying to solve with BlackPearl, and then when I describe BlackPearl, it'll really help. So one of the things when we look at the archive market is it's a complex market. It is with a lot of different products out there, a lot of different ways of doing it. But one of the key things is the mechanisms. Each mechanism in the chain is really a level of abstraction of the level below it, and it tends to try to trick the application above it to say, hey, I'm a disk, or hey, I'm a file system. I'm not really a tape archive or a Blu-ray archive. I'm really local. I'm not remote. And when it's doing all these things, each area is having to do things like cache certain amounts of data. It's having to fool around with timeouts, and they're really doing all this fancy footwork to make this archive look like something the application understands. And when we look at that, it's certainly a viable model, and it works today, and it works very well for certain data sets. But as data sets grow and workflows really become more targeted at a certain application, be it genomics or HPC or something like that, and we know we're working in data sets, which is important here. We're working with data sets. I create a bunch of weather data. I put it into a deep storage archive. I create an entire movie, and I take every frame and every cell of that movie, and I put it in the archive because I'm done with it. That's different than I, Matt Starr, have created a PowerPoint, and I haven't touched that PowerPoint in 3 years, and it automatically tears off to an archive. That's a perfectly good example of an HSM. We want to build the latter part, which is I'm putting it into the archive. I'm putting it away. I'm done with it. I know I'm done with it because the movie made it out. I made $50 million, and I'm no longer here. I'm an actor. Don't I wish. So what we wanted to build was really a RESTful interface, an object store interface to archive storage. And today that archive storage that we're using is tape-based media. We support two tapes. It's the LTO consortium tape and the TS 1150 tape, 1140 and 1150, but 1150 is the current tape there. And what this gives us is a cost footprint that is significantly better than, first, any disk product that's out there, but even that's better than a fully deployed HSM. So when you look at the cost footprint, you're, at pennies per gig is your cost to deploy BlackPearl. So how do we do it, and what is it really? So on the front end of BlackPearl is two 10 gig Ethernet ports, and on the back end of BlackPearl is a set of fiber channel or SAS connections to a tape library. And in the middle is a piece of hardware and a lot of software, and that hardware happens to be a set of some flash drives, a set of some rotational drives, enterprise class SAS drives, and then a very powerful motherboard running a FreeBSD operating system. What happens is we present an object storage interface on the front end that looks very much like S3. As a matter of fact, we've taken the entire S3 command set and extended it a little bit, so you can more or less use S3, but if you really want to move a lot of data really fast, you use our DS3 extensions, and you're basically putting data into the BlackPearl system. The data lands on the disk. It's protected on the disk with a RAID 6, and then the metadata and all of the database information lands on those flash drives, so it's at a very high-speed system. Then in the background, we take that out and we put it out to LTFS tape. Not only does the data go out to LTFS tape, and that's the linear tape file system, but the metadata also can be stored on tape. So now, with that tape, you have a self-contained, self-describing piece of data that you can actually transport if you choose to do so. And in essence, BlackPearl is that kind of deep storage gateway, that idea of being able to take a big data set, put it into the archive, and when you want to get it back, you just get it or get pieces of it back out of the deep storage archive.